Hello. In this video, we will be going over how to use tables in Microsoft Excel. The purpose of tables in Excel is twofold in my experience, the first of which is to make your data presentable, the second of which is to make your data more manageable. In order to get into the details, let's just jump right in. So for this demonstration, I have simulated transactions on my raw data sheet. All of these are randomly generated. None of them are intentionally taken from any legitimate transactions anywhere, but this looks like data that you might get from a payment processor. I want to condense this into a daily review. So this data starts on March 17th, 2019 and ends on March 15th, 2020. So I'm going to go with the beginning date and see what I can do. Normally, I would type in my equation right away, but let's grab our data here and just attach or format it as a table. Since it's raw data, I like this one. You select the data that you want to put into your table. It pops it in here. Or you can say format as table and then select the data that you want to do so with. The second part is you check this if your table has headers. So in our case, it figured out that our table does have headers. Be careful with this option because I believe this is automatically checked or unchecked based on Excel's best guess. Sometimes it's wrong, so make sure that it's checked if your table does in fact have headers, and it's not checked if your table doesn't have headers. So if I didn't have this first line, I would definitely uncheck it. But I have it, so I'm going to check it and click OK. As you can see right away, even this is a bit more readable. It extended each of the columns such that they were large enough to show the full header name. It also added filters to every column. It added a separate formatting for the header row. And it has the rest of the data in banded rows, which in this style means that it has an border between each row. And you can see as we scroll, it even pops the headers into the column names. So we start off with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but because our selection is inside a cell, when we scroll past that, it pops it right up there. You can even do your filters inside of there. So that's a welcome improvement from having to freeze the top row already, right? It also looks a lot better. And I'm going to show you exactly how much more manageable it is now. So I want sales for this day. I'm going to use the SUMIF function. Actually, I'm going to use the SUMIFs function because it makes more sense to me and it's easier to expand if I need to do so. So in SUMIFs, we need our sum range. Rather than select the whole column on the relevant sheet, I'm going to select the table column within the table. I'll show you what that means. So our sum range is going to be the sales. We're going to go over here and we're going to grab net sales. I'm going to click right here and watch what shows up in our function. It's table 1 net sales. So this isn't raw data exclamation point D2 to D1001. It's table 1 net sales, which means that it's effectively a named range, but within a table. This allows us to add more data to this table and automatically have it pulled into here without having to select the entire column. So if we have table 1 net sales, also, it's a bit more readable. We know we're summing if the sum range is net sales. The criteria range is going to be date, which you might be able to predict is table 1 date. And the date that we want to look at is this right here. So if we close that off, we get our sales for that day. And we can do the same thing by copying and pasting. But instead of net sales, we want the discounts for the day. So we can type in discounts. I type in DI, it automatically suggests discounts, and I can press tab to autocomplete. If I press enter, we can see that we didn't have any discounts that day. Same thing here, we can copy paste, and we can say total collected. Tab to autocomplete, and done. Oh, taxes. Okay, that might be the difference between that. Taxes and tips would be the difference between our sales and collected in this simulation. So, you might be asking, why did we put a table on our raw data, but not our daily review? Which is a great question. Let's create one. I like this one. That style for presentable data. And of course, we're going to make this money, this money, and that money. So, like we did over there, rather than referencing A2, we can reference day. Because we're looking in the same table, we don't have to have a table reference. And because we have this at in front, we're looking at the day for this row. So we can confidently go this row, day. There we go. Same for this. Done. So, now we have our formulae that are calculating the sales, discounts, and collected for any given day. We can enter a new day. So I'm going to type in 3/18 just to get the next day. And when I hit enter, watch what happens. Oh, 2019. It automatically populated the formulae to our new row and expanded our table to include the new row as well. And I can keep doing that. No more do you have to drag down the formulae in order to make sure that they are present for every row. But let's say I wanted this to go to the end of the month. Let's not be too crazy. So you can see as I'm dragging this down, Excel is automatically figuring out exactly what I want to progress, in this case the day. So if I were to drag it to here, it would extend it to 321, 322, all the way down to 331. I'm going to release, and there you have it. I have the daily review for that month. In fact, I can go over to table design and add a total row. This immediately pops in total and sums up the last row. But let's say we wanted to sum up every row. Or column rather. We click the total row at the column and we select what we want. Currently it's at none because it's empty, but if we want the average sales for every day throughout the month, we could select this and it will automatically populate it. If we want the sum, we just pop down to sum. And any of these that you would like to use are present right here, but you can also use more functions. And it will perform whatever function it is by selecting the column data. So for this data, I just want to sum it all up. So I know that I had this much in sales, I gave this much in discounts, and I collected this much money. So that's how to use a table in Microsoft Excel. You can also add names. So let's say that I wanted this to be the same name as the sheet, raw data. Oh, I can't do it because it must start with a letter or underscore, which it does. It can't include a space. So let's do raw data. Done. You can see that our references over here have automatically updated, which means it's much more simple to figure out exactly where our data is coming from and what we're referencing. We're referencing the net sales in the raw data table here. Same with the rest of it. We can rename this one as well. If you have trouble finding it, it's under Table Design, Table Name. So this one I'm going to call Daily Review in case I want to pull from it somewhere else as well. And there you have it. That's how to use Microsoft Excel tables. It makes your data look prettier. It makes it easier to reference and easier to read when you're looking at formulae. And it makes it easier to manage overall, giving you tools that you can use in order to get more out of your data. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can.